Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. Dr. Ross Marcagiani with Turnpaugh the Wellness Center and another great word of the week. Today's word of the week is going to be eczema. We're going to talk about what is eczema, what are some potential triggers to eczema, and how do we work on reducing eczema. Let's dive in. So first, what is eczema? Eczema is a pretty common inflammatory skin condition. Okay, most common type of eczema is atopic dermatitis. This can typically cause like the thickening of the skin of the top layer of the dermis, can cause dry skin, it can typically cause raised patches. Typically most standardized treatment for eczema or atopic dermatitis is going to be the use of some type of steroid cream, some type of moisturizing cream, or an antihistamine. One of my patients recently was trying to use Claritin, and found that using Claritin actually caused their liver enzymes to actually go pretty high and could potentially have led to some issues with liver damage. So want to be just aware that we're not just diving right into conventional treatment, because there may be ways that are just as effective and might not have as many potential side effects as conventional treatment. So what are some potential triggers here? Most of the triggers for eczema are going to be environmental. So a lot of dust, if you're someone who has hay fever and asthma and has several allergens to pollens, you may be more susceptible to developing or having flares of eczema. Foods is hands down the biggest trigger. So we're going to dive into that and give some attention to that, but trying to avoid inflammatory foods or foods that could cause irritation to the digestive tract. There can also be a familial tendency. Mom and dad has it, so their son or daughter has it. A lot of the times we see immune dysregulation with eczema, not having proper immune balance. And a lot as well, just something to be aware of. If you're noticing a lot of hand eczema on certain cookware, like stainless steel cookware, where the nickel can create an allergic reaction or potential eczema reaction. So looking at like heavy metal exposure too, that could possibly be another trigger. And the reason why I wanted to just talk about this today is I had a lot of moms coming in with their babies and having baby eczema, right? So again, that leads us into us discussing to the mom what they're eating, about, talking about their food. And really what I would recommend here is if we're having eczema or, you're breastfeeding your child and your child is having some eczema, really looking at what you're putting in your mouth and trying to stick to, I would say, depending on the severity of the eczema, at least a paleo nutrition approach, but preferably an AIP diet. That would be the first thing I would do, and I would do that for at least 6 weeks. So an AIP diet, basically the foods that you can have, rather than talking about the foods that you can avoid, because there are a lot of them, the foods that you can have basically can be talked about on one hand. So good clean meat, so grass-fed meat, cage-free poultry, wild-caught fish, lots of good clean vegetables, good fruit, sweet potato, avocado, and coconut. That's basically it in regards to an AIP diet. And that's really important that the mother sticks to that, because as everyone knows, when you're breastfeeding the baby, what the mom eats, the baby's going to eat. And now if you're still having issues, this is when I would reach out to a functional medicine practitioner and get food allergy testing. I usually don't like to go right to food allergy testing because I like to set a foundation first. But if you're still having issues, we can then do food allergy testing. A lot of people will say, well, what if I've been avoiding the food and it won't show positive? This is going to show sensitivities most of the times, not IgE antibodies, which is a true allergen. But that being said, an avoidance for 6 weeks, you're still going to be circulating antibodies to that food that you're reacting to. So I would not be concerned about, since you've avoided that food, that it won't show up in the test. We want to make sure that we work on gut cleansing, so using glutamine. I like this peptide called BPC 157, using zinc. Typically, you can use zinc picolinate anywhere, from 30 milligrams to 50 milligrams, up to 3 times a day, using deglycerized licorice root, using short-chain fatty acids to help repair the colonocytes or the microvilli, the little hair in the digestive tract that help absorb food. We can use some natural antihistamines, quercetin, NAC, stinging nettle. Again, I talked about that claritin earlier and how it can affect the liver, so just being aware of that. We can use some immune balancers like vitamin D. I usually like anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 IUs. Using perilla seed, using astragalus help to balance the immune system and not cause that immune flare, thus presenting in the eczema or the skin reaction. You can use oolong tea or green tea, which is really high in polyphenols, which help to, again, help to reduce the flare of eczema. Flaxseed and sunflower oil has been shown to be very helpful. I would do at least 1 tablespoon a day. Also looking at vitamin A, at least 25,000 IUs a day. All really helpful things for the skin. But first, these are all great, but first things first, we got to make sure we're removing the food that's causing this reaction. If you know anyone that's struggling with eczema, please don't hesitate to have them reach out to the office and share this video with anyone that you know that could benefit from this. I really appreciate your time and have a great day.